entering a new era here. The first mood-lifting, antidepressant, happy plant.
We want rebel music, street music, music that breaks down people's fear of one another, music that knows who the real enemy is.
J'ai fait des films très différents dans ma vie. J'ai vu donc pour que je vous dise qu'est-ce que c'est qui m'a mené à faire ce travail pendant tant d'années.
Minkälainen tilanne sinulla, Aurora, nyt sitten on elämässä?
Mulla on vähän sellainen monenlainen tilanne.
If I would die, my daughter gets automatically asylum.
Don't think about that. Maybe you can find a wife here.
Mitä?
Jos vaikka niinku oikeasti rakastuu.
3,000, that's all I have. And you find me someone to get married to. You're fucking crazy, all of you.
On balleriina.
Onko me sinusta niinkö hurrikaani tai joku muu kaoottinen ilmiö?
Sinä olet enemmänkin niinkö kiskoilla kulkeva liekiheiti.
Let's have a moment of silence.
Ei happe, ei ilma, kun se astelee.
and also the preparations?
Well, in Aurora, it was quite long. It was, I think, altogether maybe like 7 years.
Wow.
But the last part was kind of 2 years. But it's kind of evolved into from from another film to another film, and then it finally found its form, which is it's now.
And well, I understand it may take some time because there are a lot of things to cover in the film itself. You talk about immigration issues, you talk about substance abuse, and yet you wrap it up in romantic comedy. So it's we don't see any hardly any romantic comedies with touches of themes that I mentioned before. So I wonder what kind or what were films or books or works of arts that influence your writing within these past years?
Well, I think Eddie Murphy is coming to America.
Oh, okay.
Which was fun. And then Andrei Tarkovsky's Mirror.
Yes.
So I kind of wanted to make a film which comes in the meeting point of Tarkovsky and Eddie Murphy, you know.
That's like the opposite extremes.
Yes. So it gets kind of like I think both of the worlds, like East and the West, have influenced my work, you know. But I think I watch a lot of films when I'm writing, and I'm kind of searching for the form, which I'm that. For example, with Aurora, it kind of really it was kind of a relief when I made a decision that this can be a romantic comedy, you know, that it doesn't have to be so serious, and it doesn't have to be so kind of like hard, even though the issues are hard and the themes are hard, but the form can be kind of liberating if it's something warm and something loving and something funny and something kind of light, but there is a substance which is really heavy, you know.
And the decision to make it as a romantic comedy, did it come from the beginning, or is it something along the way that you finally decided, oh, okay, so let's not make this into drama, for example, but make it as a romantic comedy instead?
Yeah, I think I started writing it about like more like drama comedy, and then it's kind of quite fast I realized that this could be a great romantic comedy. It's just it takes a little bit more courage to go into the form which is not so well appreciated. For example, because if you talk to any film critic in the world and you ask and you tell that, you know, I'm gonna do a romantic comedy, they're like, okay, you know, it's not like really something, you know, people and festivals are kind of like embracing. But in the end, I think every one of us is watching at home secretly romantic comedies, eating ice cream and crying and, you know, thinking about our life.
Yeah. Well, like what you said earlier, if it touches heart, so it will likely touch everybody else's hearts as well. And I understand that you don't have much time here, so I'm juggling between my questions and our audience questions. We already have one here. The question is, love your film. Somehow Aurora reminded me of myself, yet I found that Aurora gave a fresh and warm perspective of Scandinavian films that usually looks cold. Is this why you always use bright colors in Aurora styles, or do you have other intentions?
Oh, nice. Thank you for your question. It was a very good question. I think in Aurora, we were looking for very bright colors because we wanted that it would look like Las Vegas, like that it would be like a Finnish Las Vegas, because at the city where I'm from, Rovaniemi, which is in Lapland. It is actually like the Las Vegas of Finland in a way, because it's the place where people come to party, and it's a very fun city because it's really cold outside, but inside it's really warm, and there's a very wild nightlife, So we were thinking that because we have this love affair and everything, it would be kind of good for the story to be like joyful, that it would be like bright colors and not this like, like you said that, Nordic films can be many times like very chromatic.
And speaking of Aurora herself, it's hard for me to see any other actor playing Aurora herself. So what was the casting like? Was she the first choice to play the Aurora?
Actually, no. I did a lot of test shooting, and I had a very long test phase. But when Mimosa came and she did her first exam, which was like exam, but assignment, what I had, which was like to do a poem of Beyonce's song that you will perform like a monologue, one Beyonce's song. And when she did that, I was like, okay, she's the one. I could immediately kind of sense that she has something special, and she has something for the role, and she's really, really good. You can just, she's just amazing.
And she has also a very distinctive look. I hardly see the style of her in any other Nordic film. How did you come with the styling of her character?
Well, we see a lot of women looking like her in my home country in Finland, but not, like you said, not many films are made about them or us women, that we have a women lead character who is doing the nails and who is doing the hair. We usually are the kind of like sex object, something like men desire, and we have a little side row somewhere that somebody can want, but we don't have want for ourselves, or we don't have life for ourselves. So I wanted to make a film about women, as a woman,
as the central characters, at the central part of the stories.
Not and like that you just that she would be an object of desire or something.
Okay. And in relation to that, we have another questions. Hello, I watched your movie, really love your movie. I would like to ask you what was the hardest artistic choice you made in the making of Aurora? And if there were, what were those?
Thank you. It was a very good question again. Hardest artistic choice. I think, like we talked earlier, one of the hardest artistic choice was that I decided to do a romantic comedy. It was kind of silly, that can I do this? Is not, if I wanna do art house film, I can't do an art house film which is a romantic comedy. And then I was like, fuck, why can't I do a romantic comedy which is an art house film? To aim high and still be honest. That I wanted to make art is to be honest. But I think the hardest, there were so many hard choices, but I think they are kind of technical also, to what lenses to use, or what location to use. This can be really hard when you have another location and you are like, okay, this costs 10,000 euros and this costs 5 euros, and but this is so much better and we don't have that much money, but what can we do? And it's kind of economical choice, but in a way it's also artistic choice, because you need to manage the whole wholeness, you know, that kind of choices can be artistic choices.
And this is your debut feature film, and how is it like to convince other people to be on the same boat with your artistic vision?
Well, it was kind of interesting. In the beginning, it was like, I think people or financiers were like, you know, like, okay. But in the end, I was in Finland. I have done short films and documentaries. So some financiers, they knew me already, so they kind of knew what kind of crazy ball I can be in a way. That they kind of knew that I have maybe some strange ideas, but in the end they might fly, you know.
Okay, we have another question. This is about the context of the film. I understand that the issue to use marriage to live in one's country is quite common. Is this issue also being faced in Finland, or maybe other issue regarding immigration, especially in the Lapland area, which is super cold?
Well, I don't actually know, but I think it can be. It can be. Actually, the story is based on my cousin's story, because my cousin met a guy in a supermarket who was an immigrant who came from Algeria, and they fell in love. So I have this inner view in a way of to somebody's life in a way, because I was watching my cousin, you know, close. But I don't actually know, is it common? But I think it's the same than in everywhere in the world. You know, people fall in love. People wanna live. They try to find a way to live and maybe use some not so good manners in a way to find your place. But in a way, I don't know. Maybe that's the question what you need to ask from some sociologists or I don't know, politicians or somebody.
And since you observe the immigration-related marriage issues from within, from your cousins, I wonder, have your cousins watched the film, and how did they react to the film?
They watched it and they liked it a lot. You know, it was, but of course, it's because it's a story. It's not their story, because there is kind of like the main character is more like, you know, more like maybe me, or I don't know, and then, you know, the story is my cousin's story, so it's kind of like it's so far from reality, so it's okay. They didn't got offended by it.
That's good. to keep the relationship within the family intact.
Yes.
Okay, another question is, congrats for winning Best International Film in Edinburgh Film Festival last year. And also your film just won Best Film in Juicy Awards earlier this year. So how was the reaction in terms of box office for Aurora in Finland?
It was good. It was we have this kind of level of art house films, you know, what they can reach. So it kind of reached the top of the art house film. It wasn't like the mega hit, you know, like some romantic comedies or some light films. They can be like this huge, like everybody in Finland goes to watch it. So it wasn't like that. But it was in Lapland, where I'm from. It was kind of that a lot of people went to see it. But I think it was good. It was like it was for that kind of film. It was the maximum in a way, I think.
Okay, that's great. And of course, we cannot help asking what is next in your pipeline. What is what is it that you are currently developing right now?
Well, I'm not so keen on talking about my next things, because they're kind of, I want to keep them as a secret, because I always feel that if I talk them beforehand, they got ruined in a way that you know, that they are so small and so embarrassing. You know, I like many times my ideas are kind of embarrassing to myself, that I'm like, I don't want to talk about it, so I just do a film about it, and then I can just like, because for example, if I didn't talk about Aurora to almost anybody, you know, and then I just did it
Okay.
and it come out, because I feel like I want to also do films which are about topics which are hard to talk. So it's hard to talk about my next film.
Okay. Well, that must be a big challenge because yeah, you don't talk much about your debut project. While at the same time, I understand that you need to find financiers, find people. How did you
Yes.
juggle that? Or how did you balance that?
Well, it's so hard, but I always feel like that I want to do the script very well, that I don't need to talk about it. For example, that I just do my work very well, and then I just say that here's my work, you want to see it, and then of course I go to this. For example, if I need to pitch a film, but in the way I think it's the late phase of the development where I already have a script and I know what I'm doing, and I can throw you a one liner like that, and I'm like, okay, it's kind of more ready in my head. And of course there is producer which I had, which in this film was Max Malka, who is also very good at pitching films, that she can talk. So it was many times also that I didn't talk so much and she talked.
Okay, I think we have one last question here. Congrats for this stellar debut. I really like how both Aurora and Darian stick out like sore thumbs in their current environment, like subtle nod to their place in this world, which is still to be determined. And only when the two are on screen together that they appear to belong to the environment surrounding them. How did you prepare for the whole concept about relationship with the inner demons, fears, and insecurities that feel so personal here?
Can you repeat the last one?
How did you prepare for the whole concept about relationship with the inner demons, fears, insecurities that feel so personal here?
I think it was a lot of meditating. I do a lot of meditating, and I think a lot, sometimes maybe too much, and I read a lot and I talk a lot, and I discuss with actors, and I discuss with people, and I kind of work on it. If I have the issue, I feel like I just need to dig. So when I'm doing the film, and I'm like digging all the time, even though I'm meditating, it's kind of my subconscious is doing the film in that time. But I think it's the balance between being silent and talking,
And you've done meditation regularly way before you prepare for this film. It's your
Yes,
daily
I have
activity.
maybe 14 years.
Okay, wow, it's a long time. Okay, I understand, Miia, that you only have limited time here, so thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
very
your
much.
time.
Thank you. It was so very nice to be here with you.
And before we leave, maybe we can take a picture together. So we just look at each of our camera, laptop, and our technical host will guide.
Hello, please look at the camera and stay still for 1 to 2 seconds, and I will count to 3. 3, 2, 1. One more time.
Okay, just a moment. I just lift myself. Yep.
3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Miia.
you very much.
Have a good day, and cannot wait for your next film.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for a very good Q&A.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Ya, itu tadi sesi Q&A bersama Miia Tervo yang memang direncanakan tidak akan berlangsung lama karena dia harus mengurus anaknya. Dan saya sudah punya 3 penanya terpilih yang akan mendapatkan hadiah dari Europe on Screen. Yang pertama untuk Shondalen, kemudian Mika I, sama Maharani Nurul. Oke, nanti akan dihubungi oleh tim Europe on Screen, dan jangan lupa untuk menonton semua film Europe on Screen di Festival Scope, dan selalu ada Q&A bersama sutradara film atau pemain film yang filmnya diputar di Europe on Screen. Jadwalnya bisa dilihat setiap hari karena bertambah terus di media sosial kami di Instagram, Twitter, dan Facebook. Terima kasih, selamat malam. Have a good evening ahead. Bye.